All right, let's talk about the machine you're probably watching this on right now, your computer. We're going to peel back the layers and see what actually makes it tick, piece by piece.
You know how it is. You click a button, you start typing, and boom, stuff just happens on the screen. It feels like magic, right? But if you ever stop to wonder what's really going on inside that box, it could seem super complicated, maybe even a little intimidating. Well, here's the cool part. It's not magic. Not at all. The best way to get your head around it is to think of a computer as a team of total specialists, where each one has a very specific and super important job to do. So let's pop the hood and take a look inside. We're going to meet the core members of this team, the essential components that have to work together perfectly for your computer to even turn on.
And all these physical parts we're about to talk about, there's a word for them. Hardware. Super simple rule of thumb. If you can physically see it and touch it, it's hardware.
Okay, first up, let's meet the captain of the team, the big boss, the brains of the entire operation. This is the Central Processing Unit, or as you've probably heard it called, the CPU.
The CPU is the thinker. Seriously, it's like a ridiculously fast calculator that handles everything. Every time you click an icon, the CPU is the one that says, okay, let's launch that program. You're playing a game? It's doing billions of calculations every single second. Everything, and I mean everything, goes through the brain.
But you know, a brain isn't much good without memory, right? And what's interesting is that a computer actually has two different kinds of memory, each with a totally different job. One is for what it's doing right now, and the other is for everything it needs to remember long term.
Okay, let's break this down. Think of RAM as your desk, or your workbench. It's where you put all the stuff you're working on right now. That's why having more RAM is so great. It's like having a bigger desk, so you can multitask without things getting slow and cluttered. Then you have the hard drive. That could be an old-school spinning disk, an HDD, or one of those newer, super-fast solid-state drives, an SSD. The hard drive is like your filing cabinet. It's where you store everything permanently. And here's the key difference. You ready? RAM is temporary. Turn off the computer and the workbench gets wiped clean. But that filing cabinet, it holds on to everything, safe and sound for the next time you boot up.
So, okay, we've got a brain and we've got memory. But how do they actually talk to each other? How does everything connect? Well, that's where the motherboard comes in. The motherboard is basically the computer's entire body. It's the skeleton, it's the nervous system, it's this huge circuit board that every single component plugs into. It's what lets the whole team talk and work together.
And really, it has three main jobs. One, it's the physical frame that holds all the key parts in place. Two, it's kind of like a power grid, making sure electricity gets to where it needs to go. And three, probably most important, it's the communications hub. It's the traffic cop for all the data flowing between the components, making sure they can work like a real team.
All right, there's one last piece of the puzzle, a really important one that's often overlooked. It's the part that gives everyone else the juice they need to do their jobs. We're talking about the power supply.
See, the electricity coming out of your wall, that's high-voltage AC power. It's way too strong for your computer's delicate parts. They need a gentle, low-voltage DC power to work. So the power supply has this one critical job. It's a translator. It takes that powerful energy from the wall and converts it into the safe, stable power the computer can actually use. So let's put it all together real quick. You've got the CPU, that's the brain doing all the thinking.
It uses the RAM as its immediate workbench for all the stuff that's happening right now.
It stores everything for the long haul in the hard drive, which is like a giant library. And all of this is held together by the motherboard, the body that lets them all talk to each other. And that is the absolute key takeaway. None of these parts can do a single thing on their own. A computer only works when they all work together as a perfectly coordinated team.
And you know what's really cool about this? These parts might look different from one machine to the next. They get smaller, faster, you name it. But the basic principles are the same for every single computer, whether it's a huge gaming rig or the phone in your pocket. Once you get how this core team works, you pretty much get how any computer works.
So the next time you look at your computer, don't just see a black box. See the team inside, all those specialists ready to get to work. And now that you've been introduced to the team, what are you going to build?